Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony Prasad Tevraj, a Senior Partner Solutions Architect here at AWS. Welcome to our session about ThoughtSpot and AWS and how we take you through a successful journey into a modern data architecture. I've been with the company for around 7 years, and I'm a recovering data engineer, and I've worked on building complex ETL and ELT pipelines in the past. And today, my role is all about helping partners like ThoughtSpot build integrations with native AWS services and go to market together. We have a packed agenda, but we only have 30 minutes, of course. So I'll quickly run through them. First, we're going to understand, what this means to a customer, right? What does ThoughtSpot and AWS do together to solve the customer's problem? And why are we doing this? The second most important aspect is, what do we have with our integrations with respect to Redshift? And then we also have a few more announcements forward where we have integrations built out with Amazon Athena and Amazon RDS and Aurora. So I'm going to walk you through the entire journey of how it looks like from an end-to-end point of view, and also we'll conclude with our summary. So let me start with, first of all, what the problem is, right? I think one of the things to understand here at AWS is we work backwards from the customer's demand. Around 95% of our product features were built over the years on customers like yourselves and what you see on the field, right? And one thing we've noticed is they're always looking to extract data and derive useful business insights. So it's not just important to store or have data in a central data repository, but it's also important to understand what value it brings to the business, right? Now, we've bucketed these challenges into a couple of groups. So first, the customers want to access all their data. However, data can be distributed. It could be in silos, right? It could be disparate data types. For example, you could have structured data, unstructured, or semi-structured. How do you curate all these data sets and combine them together in one place and derive insights? This has been one of the challenges, right? The second most important aspect is if you want to run analytics on the cloud, you have to serve tons of customers. We're talking about hundreds or even thousands of data analysts who want to finish their jobs on time. They have strict SLAs, right? So slow query performances is unacceptable in today's world. And missing SLAs leads to a bad user experience. And no one wants that. Now, finally, given all these challenges, right, in a way, it's also important to understand the cost effectiveness of our solution. Because at the end of the day, we are building a solution to ensure that we save costs for the end user and our customers alike. The other important aspect is at AWS, we thrive ourselves on being extremely secure and follow the compliance rules. There's a lot of questions that customers may have. How do we take care of security? How do we take care of compliance rules? I will address all those questions that you might have through the later slides. Now, it's also important to understand that in addition to what all the challenges that I just talked about in terms of data itself, data users within organizations are growing like never before, right? Now, in the past, business leaders would go through data engineers and they would ask them to extract data. They would ask them to build dashboards. They would ask them to run analytics or queries. And developers were asking DBAs or database administrators to manage data warehouses for them. So if you look at it, there's a lot of people involved in this entire process, right? The old paradigm doesn't really work for a modern world. Everyone wants a fully managed, self-service, and zero-touch analytical system to leverage data as part of their day-to-day job to derive faster insights. Now, if you're a product manager and you want to derive useful insights on a business report that happened on, for example, ads over the last 20 days, you don't have to wait for a data engineer to extract that information anymore. You can simply run queries and self-serve your analytic needs through the platform that we provide. Now, it's important to understand in this slide what this actually depicts, looking at the journey of customers using their data, right? Now, first of all, they typically start from dashboarding and reporting type of scenarios, right? Now, as data is spread across enterprises, typically customers start building ETL data pipelines, right? Because you have to extract data from one data source, transform that data, or as I like to call it, massaging data, and then eventually load it into a data warehouse, right? Now, more recently, customers are actually looking for near real-time analytics, right, to get results faster. Now, for example, I'm based out of the Pacific Northwest, And if I notice a credit card transaction happening in Zurich, Switzerland, I am definitely concerned. I do not want my bank to be blocking my transaction 2 weeks from now. No, I would rather have them block it right away, within 15 minutes. So that's a real-time scenario where we have to act upon a data-driven decision from what you have obtained from the end user. And there's several use cases that I would really like to dive deep into, right? Customers are also looking to monetize their data, right? At the end of the day, it's about surfacing data as data products to ensure that you can make money out of the data that you surface to your end user. Customers are leveraging Redshift to actually externalize or share the analytic systems to serve their end users. Now, as part of this movement, customers are modernizing their data architecture. They're building on themes such as data mesh, scenarios where data is spread across enterprises, using things like data sharing to make it really easy to access data. And that's why Amazon Redshift comes into the picture. This provides the best price performance in cloud data warehousing. And instead of investing time on your end, we do the heavy lifting for you to meet customer challenges and address the modern needs. Redshift helps you analyze all your data. It could be transactional data, it could be log files, it could be structured or nested data without movement or transformation. And it is also the most affordable cloud data warehouse that delivers up to 3 times better performance on your workloads. It requires zero administration and delivers insights from your data in seconds in a more secure manner. And this is something that we announced last year at Beyond. ThoughtSpot was able to support and is GA with Amazon Redshift Serverless. Now, why do we launch Amazon Redshift Serverless, right? Now, if you're a customer and has no idea what your data is or wants to start off with a small workload, we allow you to deploy a Redshift Serverless instance within a matter of minutes. You don't have to worry about configuring your network protocols or your VPCs. We take care of that, and you're able to get started and analyze your data via ThoughtSpot while we're connected to Redshift Serverless. And we also are pleased to announce that ThoughtSpot was one of the launch partners in our program powered by Redshift that we announced last year at Beyond as well. Now, what this provides for customers is end customers of ISVs generate tons of data, right, within their applications. Now, this provides a great opportunity to drive embedded analytics within those applications. So what this means is ThoughtSpot is able to support customers who leverage Redshift to embed their applications within Redshift as their modern data architecture. So what does that mean to the end user? You have everything pre-baked for you. You don't have to look for custom deployments. You don't have to go out of the box to look for another solution. ThoughtSpot and AWS makes it easier and drives a very seamless experience for customers to go to market as well. We are currently available on AWS Marketplace, so you can get started right away. Now, we are pleased to announce this year at Beyond that ThoughtSpot is now one of the partners in the Partner Console integration on Redshift. It is available for private preview that we are testing with our customers at this time. Now, what does this mean for our end user, right? Customers have asked us to accelerate their data onboarding and get it up and running in minutes. They look to bring data from applications like Salesforce or Google Analytics or Facebook Ads into the Redshift data warehouse in an efficient and streamlined way. With our native partner integration in your Redshift console, you can actually get up and running by bringing data to your Redshift workload with partners like ThoughtSpot efficiently. So how does that look on the console? A sneak peek onto what it's going to look like. So you as a customer can go to the Redshift console and then you will be presented with a ton of options where you can pick ThoughtSpot to leverage your analytics needs. From an end user point of view, you don't have to leave your platform. You can seamlessly, connect to ThoughtSpot from your Redshift console and monitor all your jobs that are being loaded into your Redshift database. So really excited to share this news with you And hopefully this can alleviate a lot of problems that customers have had when they've had to pull third-party data. Now, we also have to understand that modern applications store massive amounts of data, right? And most of you are storing terabytes, if not petabytes of data. I remember when I started my journey, into cloud, I remember that the amount of data that we were talking about and what we observe today with customers is significantly different. You're storing data in data lakes on AWS, and you run analytics and machine learning from your data lake. Your data lake will have data from IoT devices. It could be number of clicks on an ad or applications that monitor sporting events. For example, you're talking about a soccer match. A coach at halftime would want to take important decisions. So we can get real-time analytics where we can identify the number of touches a player has made in the other half, the opponent's half. From which side are they having more attacks? So that enables the coach to take decisions at halftime and propel the outcome of the match, right? As an example. You can also run SQL queries and interact with the data as if you were talking to the data itself. That makes it a lot easier for our end users. You don't have to be a Python or a Scala expert. You can use native SQL and query the data across the data lake as well. That brings us to our next announcement. We would like to announce that ThoughtSpot now supports an integration with Amazon Athena. Now, what is Athena? If you remember in the previous slide, I talked about the data lake. Now, this is going to be an interactive query service that makes it really easy to analyze your data in your data lake. Think of Athena as a serverless infrastructure that you don't need to worry about. AWS manages it, and you only pay for the queries that you run. What our customers really love about Athena is you don't have to set up any server before you start your analytics. You simply point Athena to your data and start doing your work. That way, you as an end user get to focus on what you do best and bring your best value to the table, while we at AWS manage your infrastructure. Now, the other advantage is it is interactive. This means that everything is built for speed and designed to help you answer business questions right away. We do the heavy lifting while you're able to query seamlessly and get your end users' output. It is also built on open standards, starting with processing our engine, right, which is based on open source Trino, which supports multiple data formats like Parquet and Apache Iceberg. So you can get started with it right away. And in terms of cost, which is last but not the least, you save up to 90% and get better performance by compressing, partitioning, and converting your data into columnar formats. There's a ton of public artifacts that we're happy to share with you guys after the end of this presentation that showcases how you as a customer can get started into this deployment. Now I'd like to dive a little deeper to show you guys how this actually looks like in an architectural point of view. If you can look at the left-hand side, you notice that you have data sitting in operational databases. It could be legacy on-prem systems. It could be an ERP system. It could be another cloud infrastructure service, or it could be in another data lake. It doesn't matter. Amazon Athena allows you to federate across all those data sources with no impact on SLAs and the performance. And even better, you can leverage the data that sits in your data sources through Athena to invoke ML operations as well. So you can get the insights, run your ML algorithms under the hood, and send it back to the end user. And eventually, if you want to build business insights, you know where to look at. So ThoughtSpot is integrated directly with Amazon Athena. So you don't have to move your data anywhere. You'll allow Athena to federate across those data sources, and ThoughtSpot will be able to make money out of the data. From our really early learnings at Amazon.com, and by the way, I did work at Amazon.com for many years as a data engineer, and I'm still a recovering data engineer, and we did realize that traditional relational databases were a valuable tool, for sure, and they could solve a number of use cases, but they also fell short of certain use cases. Scaling challenges of traditional old guard relational databases drove us to create and innovate and come up with our own relational database services. I'd like to introduce you to two database services that we launched many years ago, and still one of the most popular services is Amazon Aurora and Amazon RDS. The ability to use these database engines actually provides us with elasticity, durability, and availability of cloud-managed services. This is a massive leap forward from our traditional database and data warehousing world, and I'm sure the customers have reaped the benefits. Let's dive a little deeper into Amazon RDS, right? Now, this is a collection of managed services that is simple to set up, really easy to operate, and you can scale up your databases in cloud within a few clicks. This was launched back in 2009. Our customers have benefited from over a decade of proven operational excellence, security, best practices, and innovation for cloud-native databases. That is one of the beauty of working with cloud providers such as AWS, because whatever learnings we have with customers, we make them available as case studies and public blogs to other customers and potential leads who want to explore the use cases. Now, what does it mean by a managed database service, right? Amazon RDS helps to remove inefficient and time-consuming database administration tasks without needing to provision infrastructure. You don't need to worry about backups. We take care of backups in the background while you're able to innovate on your application. RDS also allows you to manage your workloads based on peak periods. For example, you might be running into peak season and you might have more concurrent users at that point. You can actually configure your service to operate and scale automatically based on peak demand. Now let's talk about Amazon Aurora. Aurora is a relational database service as well that combines the speed and availability of high-end commercial databases. It is based off on some of the open source databases that we built. Amazon Aurora is fully compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL, and we are really pleased to announce that ThoughtSpot customers can leverage both these database services. What this allows you is to reuse your existing applications and tools, and you can seamlessly port those forward to AWS Cloud on running your ThoughtSpot workloads on AWS Cloud. Thank you so much for attending our session today. It was really a pleasure to walk you guys through how a customer can get started with ThoughtSpot and AWS. We must remind you that you're not alone in this journey, right? If you want to get started with a POC or want to get started with ThoughtSpot on AWS Marketplace, ThoughtSpot and AWS can help you together to establish that POC and move you forward in your journey. With everything we just described about, all our connectors and native AWS service support, we can provide you with the ideal solution. ThoughtSpot is a data analytics ISV competent partner. What that means is ThoughtSpot has certified and validated solutions that have been run by other customers on the field. They're also an Amazon Redshift service-ready product, which means that any new feature that is launched by the Redshift service can be tried and tested with our customers before they even go to market. This allows us to get feedback from customers before we launch a successful product. Last but not the least, I would like to emphasize that we have a ton of public content that we would appreciate if you could take a look at, and we're happy to share those after this presentation. There's a blog that we wrote recently on how you connect ThoughtSpot to Amazon Redshift Serverless and gets you easily started on your journey. We also have case studies that are publicly available that showcases how other customers have used ThoughtSpot and AWS together. And this demonstrates the success that we've had on the field. Thank you once again, and looking forward to your joint collaboration.